Hi, Ruby. Thank you for coming on the podcast. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. Thanks for having me.
So, your debut EP came out on Friday, which we'll get onto shortly, but I just want to talk about your early years. Like, when did you start getting into music?
Yeah, so I was probably about 13 when I just got into music. I'd always wanted to play an instrument, but it came a bit more apparent at that age. And I wanted to play guitar. I discovered the world of indie music. So like the Arctic Monkeys were one of the first bands that influenced me to, begin a music career. Maybe not at the time then, but yeah, that's what I wanted to do it as a hobby at the time. But then it just came my career at one point. And yeah, they were like the first band to really open my eyes to the world of music.
Well, you've got a brilliant voice. Is that something that came naturally, or did you have lessons or anything?
Thanks. No, I didn't. I've never had any vocal lessons or anything like that. It definitely wasn't the same back then as it was now. I think it just takes, experience and development. So I've been playing for about 4 years now, so I guess it's just one of those things that I've just kind of, it's just kind of flourished more in the later years.
Yeah, your voice reminds me of a mix of Amy Winehouse and Aretha Franklin. Are they influences on you?
Oh, thanks. Yeah, definitely Aretha Franklin. I'm really big into the classic soul and the blues and the soul singers, jazz singers from back then. Amy Winehouse, people say that a lot. I get that one a lot. I think it's just because she has like such a unique voice, and people will automatically compare because my voice is quite unique. If you like to say, but I definitely think the production on Amy Winehouse's music is an influence because I think it's brilliant and I really love the way that the sound that she had.
You were on The Voice Kids in 2020. What was that experience like?
It was a bit of a mad one. I was only like 14 at the time, so yeah, it was a bit crazy to do all the TV stuff. It was really nice to work with Paloma Faith, because I was a fan before, still am. She's brilliant. She was really lovely as well. But yeah, it was just a bit of a crazy one being that age and doing something like that. But I enjoyed it. I met a few good people from it. Yeah.
Yeah, she said you've got a unique voice. What's it like getting that compliment from somebody who's been there and done it, really?
Oh, it was really nice, especially because I was a fan of hers. So to hear it from her was really, really nice, especially at such a young age. Like, because I hadn't had much experience in the industry at that time, so it was nice to hear it from someone like her. Yeah, really nice.
What's it like with the show once it's finished? Do they like give you any tips or support you or anything, or is that just it?
It's kind of it, really. During like at the time when we were filming it, and by the time it came out, like the pandemic happened, so nothing really happened after the show because obviously the world kind of just stopped. But she still follows me on Instagram, which is cool. That one.
Did you get recognition through that, or did the recognition come after?
It definitely came after. I wouldn't say that I didn't have any after it, but I kind of took music more seriously since then. Like just do my own thing and as many shows as possible. So maybe like a mixture of both, I'd say.
So as I mentioned, your debut EP Backtrack came out on Friday. Are you happy with it and how it's been received?
Yeah, definitely. It's really nice to have a project out because it's my first one. So it's nice to put. I've got 5 tunes on it, so it's nice to put like 5 songs out instead of just one, which I'm so used to doing. And yeah, I'm really proud of it. Proud of everyone that worked on it. I really am pleased with how it came out in the end. Currently writing new stuff to work on the next one for next year, hopefully. Yeah, so I'm really proud, very proud.
Nice. So we are right to talk about the 5 songs that are on there, like how they
Yeah,
were written and recorded and stuff like that. So
sure.
we'll start with Backtrack. How did that come about?
I think I was writing. I didn't really write as in like with an EP target in my mind. It was just like we're gonna make an EP, but let's put these songs in it that I've been writing recently. It wasn't like I was writing them for a project to say. But they ended up on it, which I'm glad. I was just wanted a song that would be quite like catchy and people would want to dance to. That was kind of the goal when I was writing. Well, whenever I'm writing, I always want people to enjoy it and have a good time when they're listening to it. So yeah, I wanted something a bit catchy, something a bit with a soul vibe at the same time. And it just kind of like with that idea in mind, it just kind of flowed from that. It wasn't like a song that I struggled to write. It was just one that didn't take that much time to write it. And then when the band came and played their bits on it, we like played around with some stuff. But the horn section in it, I'm really, really pleased with. I think it's really nice. It's got like a retro sound to it.
Yeah, it's a very good song that kicks the EP off well. Was it always going to be called Backtrack the EP?
Yeah, I kind of struggled with what I wanted to call it because obviously I'd never had an EP to work on before, so I didn't really know where the inspiration was, and because I didn't have like a target, like I didn't write the songs for the EP. They've just been written, and I was just putting them together on a project. So I didn't really know what to go with, so I just was like, well, Backtrack sounds quite cool, so I'll just call it that, and then that was it really.
The next song's called Don't Care. You got any stories behind that song?
So that one, I was just writing it just to when I pick up guitar sometimes I don't necessarily think, oh, I'm gonna write this song and then we're gonna play it and then it's gonna be released. I just write songs and I'm like, oh, I like that. I'll just keep that for another time. And it was just one of those things that I was listening to a lot of. Well, I'm a big Palanitini fan, and there's a song on his second record, called Smoky Joe's Cafe. And I really like it. I really like the production in it, and like it's got like a bit of a Motown slash blues vibe, which is like my two favorite genres. So I wanted to write something a bit similar, and then I came up with that and played it a lot before I had the band. So I played it acoustically a lot, so I didn't know how it was going to sound with the whole full band sound, but it turned out really nice, and it always goes down really well live, and it's my favorite to play.
Next up is True. Um,
Okay.
oh, no, I guess have you got any story behind that song?
I came up with like the intro first, obviously, and I didn't really know where to go with it after I got like the first bit because it's like it changes in the song. It goes from like just acoustic to full band. I didn't really know where else to go with it. And it took me a while to find where I wanted to go with it. And then when the band played their bits on it, it really elevated it. And it's a song that I still like to play acoustic though, because I think it sounds really nice. But with the band, it's so much fun to play. I really like that one.
The next song on the EP is Home.
Home, yeah, Home is probably, I think it's my favorite on the EP. It's always our last song in the set, so it always goes down really well because people are warmed up, and they have a really good dance to that one. It's got like a few people have said it's like got Northern Soul vibes, which I'm really pleased to hear because I think that's really cool. And it was a song that when I was writing it, I did have like a big vision of what it was going to sound like when I played it to the band. I wanted it to be, big production wise and bouncy and like have a constant beat so that people would not stop dancing. And it always goes down really well when we're playing it live. And it's a nice way to end the set because it's a really fun one. Yeah.
The last song is Try on the EP.
Yeah. Try is a song that I really have released. It's one of the first songs that when I was doing it in the studio, I realized what sound I wanted to go with my music because I hadn't really found a certain genre that I wanted to stick with until we recorded Try. But I put it out and it wasn't mastered. So we got Mark, who produced the EP that I've just released, to master it, and he's done a brilliant job. So now you can hear all the different parts of the song, which is what you couldn't really hear well in the first mix because it wasn't mastered. But it has been, and I wanted it to be on the EP because it's still like part of the sound that I was trying to create with the EP, if you get what I mean. And yeah, it's a song that I think will keep in the set forever, even though I wrote it like ages ago. And we've been playing it for ages, but I still love it. It's one of those.
You mentioned with the song Don't Care that sometimes you just sit down and a song kind of comes to you, like you don't have the thought of writing a song. But have you
Yeah.
got a sort of songwriting process, or is that how most of them come?
Yeah, it depends if I'm working towards something that I like. If I'm thinking I want to put out some music, I don't know, in the new year, whatever, then I have a certain way of how I go about that, like with a sound in mind, and I don't know, like a storyline of the song, or yeah, something like that in mind. So it'll be a bit more planned. But then sometimes I find that if you like put too much thought into it and you just kind of just go into it with a free mind and you just let it flow, and those sometimes come out a bit better. So yeah, it kind of changes quite a lot But I always think that the music comes first because then I can get a feel for where I want to go with it, and how it's going to sound with the band and stuff. But sometimes like having an idea in your mind can make a song, I don't know, a bit more meaningful or something like that. But yeah, it kind of varies, to be honest.
Yeah, well, you were on Radio X on Friday with John Kennedy. What was that like?
Oh, it was really cool. I've been listening to Radio X since I was like 13 and got into indie music because obviously they play a lot of indie music. So I used to listen to it when I was doing my homework for school. So it was really cool to actually come into the studio and play on it and talk to John about the EP, which is really nice. And he's been such a champion of all the music I've been releasing lately, so that's really nice. And he's such an important figure for new music because he's always supporting it, which is really nice to see.
I was going to say he's great, John Kennedy, for promoting indie
Yeah,
acts really, and that don't get as much attention. He kind of helps them out.
definitely.
What did you do? Did you do a live acoustic set on the show as well?
Yeah, I played 3 songs, I think. Yeah, 3.
My next question is: there's not many indie acts at the minute that have that genre that you do, like jazz and blues and soul all mixed into one. Do you think that makes you stand out more?
Yeah, I guess you could say that. Yeah. It was just one of those things. Like, I work with a promoter called This Feeling a lot because they're just brilliant for new music and always putting shows on. And they, give you lots of really cool opportunities, and they always champion new music, which is lovely to see. Like the owner, Michael Johnson, has helped us out with a lot of things, which I'm really appreciative of. But the indie scene is really cool because you just meet so many different musicians and bands, and it's really nice to play with so many different people, and they're all really great, and they all have like their own little thing, which is really cool when you watch them live. But yeah, I guess you could say so because we have like the horns, so you don't really see that quite a lot with indie bands. They're kind of just like solely guitars, but we have like lots of different things we like to incorporate in the set. So yeah, I guess you could say so in a good way. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You've mentioned that you've played with bands like you've played with Lathums, The
Yeah.
Kiddies, Becky Hill, Scouting for Girls. What were all those shows like supporting those bands and artists?
Oh, amazing! It was really nice to be asked to come on the Lathums tour this year because they were the first shows that I did with the band. And like I just got um, musicians to play with me in February, so we were just rehearsing and stuff for shows that were coming up in the year. And then 2 weeks later, we got like an email saying 5-day tour of the Lathums, which is really cool. So we crammed in loads of rehearsals to get used to what it would be like and learn songs. And they were like the best shows ever. They've got the most supportive fans. They were so lovely to play for. They really enjoyed it. The set went down really well, and they're just the nicest people as well. The Lathams. They got us a cake for the last day of the tour, which is really nice. And yeah, it was really really cool to play with them because they're such brilliant musicians.
Did you used to bust around Birmingham when you were younger?
Stafford mainly is
Oh
where I'm
yeah,
from.
sorry, yeah. Did that help you when you were playing live and supporting these bands, that experience?
Yeah, definitely, because I feel like if you're a busker, you can kind of deal with anything because you're on the streets, the mean streets. So you get used to a lot of crazy things. So yeah, definitely it helps with confidence as well because if you can play in the streets, then you can play to pretty much anyone really. So yeah, definitely.
Well, we've mentioned that you do soul, blues, and jazz. That's your main genres. And you mentioned that you're into indie, like Arctic Monkeys and bands like that. Have you got any other influences that help you with your music?
What aside from music?
No, like any other bands or artists apart from them.
Oh yeah, like I said, I'm really into blues music. There's an artist I really like at the minute called Marcus King, who's like brilliant and his voice is like beautiful. He's very like country blues, but like a really nice mix of the two. And Albert King, who's like a classic blues guitarist, who was really nice. And I love the Doors, like a lot of psychedelic rock stuff, a lot of 70s rock. Um, I like a lot of Erica Badu because she's kind of like neo soul. Listened to a lot of her stuff when I was little, and Bob Marley, and yeah, I listened to a lot of different stuff. So like I like everything basically, and the Beatles. Yeah, love 'em.
Do you think listening to all that helps you writing and your voice and everything else?
Yeah, definitely. You can like take different things from different genres and incorporate them in your music, which is I think that's like a really good thing to do if you're a musician to listen to everything you can because you can take so much influences from everything really, and it's really good to have knowledge of all the music, which is quite a challenge, but you can listen to a lot of it. Yeah.
I had Lizzie Taylor on here a few weeks ago, and I asked her what it's like being a woman in the music business, and she said there's still a few barriers and stuff, but she's proud to be part of the women that are kind of knocking them down and changing things. And she said the women in the industry all support each other and happy for each other if they do well. Is that
Oh
have you got that same experience?
yeah, definitely. Obviously the indie scene is very male dominated, so when you're playing a gig 9 times out of 10 the best of the acts are going to be male bands, which is cool in a way because I feel like you can stand out more, and you set yourself the challenge of being better than them, and then it's like a win for which I love doing. I think it's quite fun, but you meet so many great people, and I think they're supportive of the women in music as well, which is nice. And yeah, there's a lot of opportunities that maybe you would say that women miss out of. Like you see a lot of festival flyers, and it's like hardly any of the acts are female, which is really annoying because there are so many great ones. And it's not like we don't exist. Um, and you've got to be supportive. I think, yeah, all the females are really supportive of each other, and it's really nice to see when they do well and get big shows. It's really nice, and you got to be supportive in the industry because it's a really hard place to be, and there's lots of challenges, and it's hard to keep going at times. So I feel like everyone supports everyone in their own way.
She said that kind of drives her on. Does it drive you on as well?
Definitely, yeah, yeah, for sure.
You mentioned their festival posters and flyers and stuff. You've played a few festivals over the last couple of years. What have them experiences been like?
Really good. We played Why Not this year for the first time, which was really nice. We had a full tent for the set, which was cool. And it went down really well. It was a nice festival to play. Yeah, we played quite a few this year. We've been like pretty much everywhere. There's a really nice festival is it in Leicester? I think it's in Leicester. 110 Above, which is really nice because it's always in the summer and it's in like these barns on like a farm, but it's really cool. It's always warm, it's always good vibes, and it's like a small festival as well, so it's not like loads of walking involved. And so that's a nice one. I played it a couple of years ago, but I was on my own then. But I got to come back with the band this year, so that was nice. Oh yeah, and we played at Bridlington Spa for this feeling. Who were promoters. They put on their own event at Bridlington Spa, and that's a brilliant venue if you haven't been. It's beautiful. I played there supporting Tony Hadley actually, but on my own. So we got to bring the band back to that one as well, which was really nice because it's such a beautiful venue. It's huge. I love it. Yeah.
What is it? What's the difference between playing on your own and playing in a band? Do you feel much different?
Oh yeah, definitely. You can't you're on your own, so it's like stripped back, so you can't hide any mistakes or anything. They're all on show. But I don't know. I'm so used to it because I've been doing it for ages. Before this has been the first year I've played shows with a band. I've done a whole year now. But before I've been doing like it for 3 years on my own. So it's definitely different because I play the songs different when I'm acoustic to kind of switch it up a bit. But I still do like doing the acoustics, but when I'm doing them, I just thinking the whole time, it'd be so much better if the band were here. It'd be lots of fun.
Do
Yeah.
you prefer playing gigs or playing festivals?
Oh, it's a hard question. I think gigs they're more exciting because you're not outside, so you're in a nice venue. And they're like sweaty, intimate gigs are really fun as well. But festivals are really great. But I'd say if I had to choose gigs, yeah.
Yeah, well, I want to be last question. You're still only 18, but you've achieved quite a bit already. Is there anything you set out to achieve or want to achieve in the rest of your career?
Oh yeah, probably loads probably for the rest of my career. Um, sell out venues, put up great records, hopefully win an award now and then, that'd be nice. And oh god, yeah, there's loads. Headline festival. That's on the list. There's so many, so I won't bore you with the details. But those are probably my top three. Yeah,
What's your number one to achieve then?
oh, it's got to be played last time, isn't it? But on
Yeah.
the trip, it'll be on the main stage. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, we've mentioned your EPs. Can you like tell everybody where they can buy it or listen to it?
Sure. So my EP is out now. It's my debut EP. It's called Backtrack. You can find it on Spotify and all the other streaming platforms. So give it a listen and let me know what you think.
Have you got social media where people can follow you and find your latest updates?
I do. It's Ruby J official on all social media platforms.
All right. Well, thank you for that. Yeah, and good luck with the rest of your career. And the EP is great.
Thank you. I'm glad you like it. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. See you in a bit.